Hello everybody, Intere back again with another video, and today's video, guys, is going to be about a very sensitive topic, a topic that has been talked about in many years around the world, which I have read in many different social medias and in YouTube comments and etc. And like the title is saying, Federer, is he a weak era Grand Slam champion, or is he more of a luckier era champion? To compare him with his two biggest rivals, which is Rafael Nadal and Novak Djokovic, of course. I have done a similar video about this last year, but this one now is little more different. I have to say what I think about this. I have to say what my opinion is about this. For those of you who have seen my last year's video about this little similar topic, probably know my opinion by now. But for those who hasn't seen that last year video, will hear about my opinion now. First of all, let's talk about the argument that people have, many people around the world, that calls Federer a weak era Grand Slam champion. Their argument is that he has faced weaker opponents than Nadal and Djokovic. Opponents like Safin, Roddick, Hewitt, Philippoussis, and old Agassi in that US Open 2005 final. Agassi was on end of his career. I think Agassi was 35 years old back then, if I'm not mistaken. Gonzalez, also one of Federer's Grand Slam finalists that Federer has faced. I think he defeated Gonzalez in that 2007 Australian Open, final. Baghdadis, I think I mentioned. Söderling, Söderling, he faced Federer faced Söderling in French Open 2009 final there. So there you have, more or less, I think even all of Federer's final Grand Slam opponents that people they're saying that they are weak opponents. Djokovic, I'm sorry, Hewitt, Roddick, Safin, Gonzalez, Baghdadis, Philippoussis, Agassi, old Agassi, because Agassi is not weak. We all know that he's an 8-time Grand Slam champion, but when he faced Federer in that US Open final 2005, he was pretty old, 35 years old. And Söderling. So there we have 8 of Federer's Grand Slam finalists back in the days. If we don't count Nadal, Djokovic, Del Potro, Murray. So what do I believe about this? What is my opinion? First of all, guys, I think it is ridiculous to call Federer a weak era Grand Slam champion or a weak era champion at all. You can't call a player of that magnitude a weak era Grand Slam champion, no matter who of opponents he faced. It was not on his control. He faced those players he had on the other side of the net. It was not much he could do about that. It was not much he could control. Was he happy about that? That he faced earlier in his career players like those players I mentioned in the video. Was he happy, Federer, about that? Of course he was. He's not stupid, for God's sakes. He rather faced those players than the other players he faced later on his career, like giants like Djokovic and Nadal. Because, of course, he could feel it that to face Roddick, Safin, Hewitt, etc. is easier than to face Djokovic and Nadal. Of course, but Federer, of course, he would never admit that in front of the camera. He would never do that. We all know that. Guys, you know that these superstars, they are almost never honest when they do interviews. Almost never honest, especially not Federer. He would never admit that. But But people in his closest people that knows him, like his family, like his mother, like his father, like his wife, if they asked him when no camera was around, Federer, who kind of opponents you rather face, and who kind of opponents was easier to defeat? Was it Nadal? Was it Hewitt, Roddick, Safin, etc., etc., or was it Djokovic, Nadal, Murray, Wawrinka? Especially Djokovic, Nadal. Who do you think he will answer? What do you think he will say to his closest friends and family? Of course, he will say it was easier to face Hewitt, Roddick, Safin than to face Nadal, Djokovic, Murray, Wawrinka, especially Nadal and Djokovic, especially those two giants. Just I give you an argument. If you look at the Wimbledon, just look at I'm going to give some examples. The Wimbledon. 2004, 2005, 2009 Wimbledon finals. Federer was facing Roddick. He defeated Roddick in all three of them. The closest of those three finals was the 2009 Wimbledon final. A final that Roddick, in my opinion, should never have lost. He had so many chances. But in the end, Roddick lost it. A 5-set battle. And if you take the other three Wimbledon finals a couple of years later, 2014, 2015, and 2019, where Federer faced Djokovic. If you take Roddick and put Roddick in those three finals where Federer faced Djokovic, 2014, 15, and 19, do you think Federer would have lost those three finals against Roddick in 2014, 15, and 19? Do you guys think he would have lost them? Honestly, do you think he would have lost them? No, he would not have lost them. He would have won them. Why? Because Roddick is a much weaker player than Djokovic. All of us who understand tennis, all of us who knows tennis, knows this bloody simple thing. Roddick is a much weaker player than Novak Djokovic. So to say that Federer had tougher opponents than Djokovic and than Nadal on his way to his Grand Slam glories, it is to lie to yourself. And I'm not here to lie. But Federer is not a weak era Grand Slam champion. That is wrong as well. You cannot call a player a weak era Grand Slam champion who has won over 100 titles. He has won 103 titles, I believe. Who has won over 25 Master 1000 titles. I think Federer has won 28 or 29 Master 1000 titles. Who has played over 140 ATP Tour finals. Federer has played over 140 ATP Tour finals. I don't know exactly how much, exactly the right number, but I know that he has played over 140 ATP Tour finals, Federer. All in all, during his career, he has played 31 Grand Slam finals, and won 20 of them, lost 11. So it is wrong to and not to mention all other things that he has done during his career, like World #1 week and ATP Tour final titles that he has won, etc., 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 etc. So to call that kind of player of that magnitude of player like Federer a weak era Grand Slam champion is wrong. It is definitely wrong. But to say that Federer has had exactly of hard times of winning his majors like Nadal and Djokovic, and to some extent Murray and Wawrinka, no. Wawrinka has won 3 of his majors against all top 3 big 3 members. 2 against Djokovic, 1 against Nadal. Murray is that kind of player who probably has had the most brutal of bad luck. The most brutal. Murray has played 11 Grand Slam finals. He lost 8 of them. 5 against Djokovic, 3 against Federer. And 2 of his majors that Murray has won out of 3 in total that he has won. He has won 2 of them against big 3 members. Both of them against Djokovic. And the only time Murray has faced of all his 11 Grand Slam finals that Murray has played, the only time he has faced a big 3 member was in that 2016 Wimbledon final against Milos Raonic. And what did Murray do against him? What did he do against him? Yeah, he took him apart in three straight sets. So even if you put Murray against Federer's opponents back in when Federer was peaking, and when Federer won all those majors from 2003 to 2007, I think Federer won 12 or 13 majors from 2003 to 2007, Murray would have picked up a lot of majors as well. Not as many as Federer, I don't think so, but much more than he did later on than he did later on his career, Murray, when Murray faced Djokovic in all those Grand Slam finals, and when Murray faced Federer in all those Grand Slam finals. So it is pretty obvious that Federer has had easier times winning his majors than what Djokovic has had, than what Nadal has had, and what Murray has had, and to some extent, and what Wawrinka has had. Because Wawrinka, like I said earlier in the video, he has won all his three majors against top three big members. Murray, he has won 2 of his 3 majors against top 3 big members. And he has played 11 Grand Slam finals, Murray, and 10 of them has been against top 3 big members. Federer 5, Djokovic 5 against 5 Grand Slam finals against Djokovic, lost all of, I'm sorry, he has played, Murray has lost 5 Grand Slam finals against Djokovic. He has played 5 against, all in all, he has played 7 Grand Slam finals against Novak Djokovic. 7. And he has lost 5 of them. And won only 2. Against Federer, he has played 3 Grand Slam finals and lost all 3 of them. So in total, Murray has 11 Grand Slam finals. He has played 7 against Djokovic, 3 against Federer. There we have 10 and 1 against Milos Raonic. So Murray is a player that who has had the most brutal of luck. And if Murray was playing his Grand Slam final against Roddick, Safi, Hewitt, and all of the other opponents that Federer has faced early in his career, Murray would have won, I can guarantee you guys, more than 3 Grand Slam titles. I can guarantee you guys. So, is Federer a weak era Grand Slam champion? Absolutely not. Has Federer had easier times? Has Federer had more luck on his side with his Grand Slam opponents than Djokovic, Nadal, Murray, and Stan Wawrinka to some extent? Absolutely yes. If I said no on this topic, on this question, I would be lying to myself. I will be lying to you guys as well, because the numbers are not lying. The numbers are not lying, guys. Just look at the numbers. So my opinion is about this, that Djokovic and Nadal has had much harder times of winning their majors. And just look at Federer. What happened with Federer after 2010? Him winning majors got down dramatically. Why? Not because Federer got so much worse as a tennis player. No, that was not that. Because Djokovic and Nadal, they got stronger, they got fit, they were on the peak of his career. They were on the peak of his career. It was not that Federer was so much bad as a tennis player. No. Djokovic had his breakthrough on that 2011 season, that monster of season that he had, and that he was stopped by Djokovic in that 2011 and forward. And Nadal had that tremendous monster tennis season in 2010. So there you have the evidence as well. Why Federer stopped winning majors after 2010 and forward. He was winning majors, but not as much as he won between 2003 and 2007. Between 2003 and 2007. So there you have the big evidence as well. So that the proof that Federer has had much easier times than Djokovic and Nadal winning majors. Much easier times. Early in Federer's career. But that doesn't mean that Federer is still a weak era Grand Slam champion. And I don't agree about that. But he has had easier times than Djokovic and Nadal winning his majors. Absolutely. And even easier than Murray, and even easier than Stan Wawrinka to some extent. I talked about Murray. He has had the most brutal luck of all these players of winning majors. The most brutal luck of all of them. That is my feeling. That is my opinion. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Take care and bye-bye.